Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Voice America Fireside Chat. We appreciate you guys all tuning in. We're going on week number 6 of this fantastic episodes of Fireside. We've had some great guests on over the last 6 weeks. March was amazing as we highlighted trailblazing, empowering women for Women's History Month, and it was just absolutely amazing. And, we kind of want to just continue the trend with the Fireside Chat of bringing everybody hosts from the network who are just absolutely awesome, who do great shows, who have great audiences, and who are absolute experts in their particular fields. And I want to welcome my very special co-host, who's the most awesome person in the world, Sandra Rogers. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Ryan, happy Friday to you. How are you today?
I am doing great. We had a very busy day here at the studio.
Did you?
I don't understand why, but Fridays are the busiest days of the week for us here at Voice America. I just finished putting together schedules with Matt, one of our audio engineers, and we're getting ready for some great shows coming up next week on the Voice America Network, and super excited about some of the new content that's coming out. It's going to be absolutely cool. Awesome.
I'm excited as well. And I've actually been meeting some tremendous professionals who are, hosting radio shows or making that decision, right, to step into that space where they want to host these programs on a weekly basis and educate the public. And I also want to thank the ladies that joined us last month, Ryan. They are dynamic hosts. They're professionals that have been with this platform for years, some of them. And they really blazed trails. They really kicked open doors, and they've made differences in people's lives and created organizations around their programs. So power to, Bonnie Graham, right? Radio Red.
Patricia Raskin.
Patricia
Joyce
Raskin.
Bender, Simran Singh.
Yeah.
All great.
Francie Kaler, PI to Classifieds. Christina Silva, when you get into that space, when it's military and bringing people from the military into civilization and how to make that transition as smooth as possible and not leaving you when you made that transition as well. So, and that's to name a few of our hosts, but we thank each and every one of them for taking time out of their day, as well as the two fine women that are with us this afternoon as well, this evening as well, that taking time out of your day to join us and share, their spirit of why they're doing the radio shows and what they do, and blaze these trails and make a difference in people's lives. So we really want to give a shout out and a sincere thanks and appreciation to each and every one of them.
Yeah, and I want to go out on a limb, and I just want to tell everybody, happy Easter's coming up here on Sunday. So, good luck to all of you with your gatherings. Please make sure you keep it safe. We want to make sure that everybody stays safe with their family gatherings and all that such. But happy Easter to everybody from Voice America. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in.
Happy Easter.
Into the Fireside Chat. And we have another co-host who's going to be joining us today, Mr. Randall Libero, Senior Executive Producer at Voice America. He's been here for, I believe, 16 years. Randall has been here, and him and I have worked together very closely, just like you and I, Sandra. Randall, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going? We're calling these fireside chats, but when it gets hot here in Phoenix, we're going to have to be calling them poolside chats. It's warm enough.
For those who have that, we'll be doing that.
Right. Get a poolside or garden side or something.
Yeah. We'll definitely
I'm
have
really
to speak
excited
with the team a little bit.
Yeah, that's fun. Well, it's been a really exciting spring season, getting a lot of new shows on. I have to say that I'm excited to introduce the audience today to one of my hosts, Molly Chang, who's going to be with us shortly. Molly's got a show that's really starting to make an impact in the business world and on LinkedIn. She's started out with doing videos on there. And I saw those videos and they were dynamic. And I just asked her if she wanted to join and actually do a live show, which she does every Tuesday morning on our business channel. And it's quite a challenge to pull off a really quality live show every week. But we've got the team there at Voice America that works with Molly, and I think it's a show that's really growing in popularity over the course of a little over a year since it's been on.
Excellent.
Yeah. I listen to Molly's show, and it's very inspiring. She's very awesome. Her ability to develop leadership development and really help people in the C-suite executive spaces do what her radio show says, right? Say it skillfully. So we appreciate her being on. And then we also have another amazing host who's going to be joining us, Forbes Riley, who we're going to bring on right now. Forbes and I have done events in LA, and we've done a bunch of different stuff together. She's been a friend of Voice America for many years. And one of the quotes that she has is, "You are the sum of the obstacles you overcome," Forbes says, as she turns dreams into reality. She is an icon and created a trusted brand name and recognized internationally as an author, award-winning television host, entrepreneur, health and wellness guru, and the creator of this really cool thing called the Spin Gym. And I've also seen Forbes speak on stage as a motivational speaker. She's absolutely amazing. And we want to bring Forbes into the show right now. Forbes, welcome to the Fireside Chat.
All right.
Look, and there she's spin gymming. Of course she is spin gymming. You're my 8th interview today, man. I got to tell you, this is my workout. If you don't have one, hint, hint. Seriously, I need to you guys. I think you guys wanted some, but I need the entire office. When you're sitting there doing an hour show, you give me 2 minutes, I'll give you your joy back.
It looks pretty easy to do as well, huh?
Oh, Miss Sandra, you've not tried this? Oh my girl, let me tell you something. It is not about easy. I'll show you my fiance, who's a 3-time world champion. When you spin this thing, it activates everything in your body.
I like that.
Easy and hard all at the same time. I'm literally looking at my friends who are going, all right, this has got to change, Ryan. Talk to me after the show, because you don't know what you don't know.
I like that, Forbes.
Send me one, because I think that would be awesome to help me with my martial arts.
Okay, it's not. By the way, I'm a black belt, right? And I've been in Taekwondo.
In Taekwondo?
Yep, Taekwondo. I studied Wing Chun. I'm Aikido. I train black belts. Don the Dragon loves his. And Ryan, you don't say send me one. You said, let's set it up for the entire office. Hello, Sandra. Come on, small minded. No idea. We're talking this is
really?
Send us one. Send us one. Okay, all of us. There's 20 of us here. Send us all one.
Oh, how you should send you, huh?
Forbes, with us being so stationary these days, sitting at our desks, and limiting our activity, right? Because we're not going out and about as we used to. Something like that. I've noticed that these instruments are being presented to us to give us the incentive to work ourselves out, because obviously by doing that, we're strengthening our bodies, our minds, and everything else that goes with our health and our wellness.
Sandra, I've sold 2.2 million of these things. I don't know what you guys are waiting. There is nothing like this. This is not a dumbbell at your desk. This is a scientific marvel that actually in third world countries, Stanford just came out with a whole TED talk about this, that this thing spins at 125,000 RPM. And when you listen to the guy who talks at Stanford, they take a vial of blood and they slap it on here. And in third world countries, they use that speed to act as a centrifuge. So what we're talking about here is not anything that you guys have ever done before. And you don't want to sit at your desk. You want to be this fit, and I'm turning 61 because you do that every day.
Correct. Well, I'm just saying that it gives you that heart kind of thing. It looks like it's something that works in your cardio system.
All of those things and so much more.
Yeah.
And Randall, join in here. You want one? I know you do.
I guess I'm gonna go buy a spin gym.
Well, you know what? Right. I'm sitting here and right out in my backyard here. I'm on my porch. I've got a 14-foot trampoline that I get on every morning. So I'm jumping up and down when I get up to wake up the body.
And I do that as well. I've actually sold about $22 million worth of trampolines. There's a version called the Urban Rebounder, and I sell that on Home Shopping. So I'm a trampoliner and a spin gymmer.
So Forbes, you know what I want? If you would please tell people about the Forbes Factor, your weekly inspiration for business, health, wellness, and happiness. I know that the radio show that you've done, this is the second radio show that you've done at Voice America. You had one that you had done several years ago, and then we got this new brand of the Forbes Factor and all the different things that you've been doing there. And I want you to tell the audience, what is your show about? I mean, I know you have the spin gym and you sell the spin gym, and that's part of some of the product lines that you offer, but tell people the reason why you do what you do with the Forbes Factor and the show that you do at Voice America.
Actually, Ryan, do you know that I did a show before all those shows? Actually, can we back on with all you guys? That I did a show called Off the Record with Forbes Riley on Westwood One, where I interviewed classic rock stars. Did you know that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, that's so. All right. So Forbes Factor. Number one, thank you guys at Voice America, because it's been a wonderful home for a long time. And I'm a firm believer, especially now that Clubhouse has come out, to remind us that the human voice and spirit comes through our ears. And often it's deceptive when we look at things. So I love the radio platform. And what Forbes Factor is I'm a little girl from Long Island. I grew up with talking like this, which you probably wouldn't have listened to very long, right? And grew up with a very small family, not a lot of money. I was really ugly as a kid. I had a broken nose and frizzy hair, wore braces for 12 years, and I had a tongue like this for a while. And I managed to overcome those things. I overcame them in spite of the fact that my dad was in the hospital for 3 years. He had a horrible industrial accident. And I learned very early on that all I had was dreams. And I used that for a very long time to get through life. Good thing I did, because dreams are a lot more productive than reality ever will be. And because of some of my crazier dreams, I've traveled the world. I wanted to be James Bond. Well, that let me live crazy places, scuba dive, do some undercover work. I've done some crazy things because that was just a passion of mine, right? And I often ask people, what do they want? Well, Forbes Factor is about health, wealth, and happiness. I've had my health stolen from me a couple of times. Almost died in the hospital from a kidney infection because I wasn't drinking enough water and I was stressing out. Does that sound familiar to all of you? And then after the surgery, then literally I was so obsessed with my work that I had my cell phone. I was in New York City actually to do an infomercial for a trampoline. And it's Sunday night and I get this horrible pains, get rushed to the hospital. They finally figured out it's a kidney stone, ready for emergency surgery. And this is me on the gurney high on morphine. Hey guys, I probably won't make the 8 o'clock call time, but I'll be there by noon. I've never missed a shoot. 10 days later, they didn't know if they could save me. And so maybe spending another day at the office, Sandra, or sitting behind your desk too much and not moving isn't what you want to do ever. And so the health becomes part of the wealth. I've also been blessed to do 193 infomercials. Those are half-hour TV commercials that have aired all around the world. I've grossed a little over $2.5 billion of sales. Now, what are you selling?
I still see your infomercials, Forbes, at night. I still see them. It's so funny when they come on too. My wife's like, hey, look, there's Forbes. My 7-year-old daughter even knows who you are. Right. And so on Friday nights, we do family night, so tonight we'll be watching some movies. It's the one night of the week my daughter gets to stay up late and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden we're flipping through channels and there's Forbes.
I think I have one running on eyeglasses. There's a very cool new brand of eyeglasses that adjusts to near and far with the same glass. And then I have one, I think, for a stem cell, because I'm all about rejuvenation and health.
Yeah, that's the one that we see, the stem cell one.
Yeah. And then the funny thing, and you're still seeing that, yeah?
They're still running it.
And it's a funny thing because one of the infomercials took me on a path to stand next to Jack LaLanne for 8 years of his life. And Jack, for many people who know or don't know, is the reason that we have the word fitness in our vocabulary. He created all that and had the very first health club. And for 37 years was on a TV show talking about how to exercise out of your chair and getting people at home to be fit. Very revolutionary. But it was in the 50s and 60s. His wife, God bless her, is still around. She's 95 years old. She's been on my Voice America show several times.
She has, yeah.
And what I'm reminded of is that your health is your wealth. Now I can teach you how to make money, and I teach people how to pitch. I have an affiliate training program. I make people millions of dollars. I set them up on some talk shows. That's all great. If you're not mentally healthy and prepared to be successful, that could be the end. If you're not physically healthy, I travel around the world speaking on stages. You know how much energy it takes to get out on the stage, talk for an hour, hour and a half, stand outside, sign autographs, another 3.5 hours. What kind of food are you eating? What kind of water are you drinking? And when does your body break down? And so I've learned to incorporate a lot of that. And this health, wealth, and happiness thing, to me, it's the essence of everything we do. Now, the other thing is, while a lot of you are very structured, show started at 1:05, I've got this guest. At 1:10, I've got that guest. I am the queen of spontaneity. I make magic happen because I say so. You never quite know what you're going to get on the show. I have often a range of guests. I'll have special guests come in. I'll have celebrities drop by. And I love the unexpected because most people dare to go there. So that's been part of what I do.
You know, one thing I really love, and Forbes, I was mentioning this to you the other day when we talked on the phone, is Forbes put the Zoom link for the radio show out publicly on social media and allowed like anybody and everybody who wanted to come on. And, you know, she'd let them in and have a little conversation. And then, no joke, at the end of the show, I happened to walk into the control room and I was talking to Andrew, which is her audio engineer. And he's like, oh my gosh, this Forbes show is crazy today. There's people coming in all over the place. And then the next thing I know, all the girls are like taking off their shirts at the end of the show on the video that's live on Facebook. And it was the funniest, most spontaneous thing I've probably seen on the network so far in 2021. And that goes just kind of to show, like, you know, exactly what you just said is, you know, you gotta dare to get out there. You have to dare to, you know, be different. One of the things I love about, co-hosting Finding Your Frequency on Fridays at noon is, you know, we talk to people about, you know, summoning the intestinal fortitude to step out of your comfort zone and go and do and try something different, and, you know, find out why these entrepreneurs decided that, you know, they didn't want to work a 9 to 5. They wanted to go follow their own passion and go do their own thing. And, your example of servant leadership is very amazing. You and I have known each other for 10 plus years. And it's just been a wonderful time to work with you and have you on the network. And we appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Well, and I love it. I talked to Jeff the other day. I had a great long talk with him. I will tell you a couple of things have shifted for me. I've moved into a different point of my life where I am in love, which is amazing, for the last 4 years, feeling loved about that. But my twins just turned 18. And I spent 18 years raising children and being very committed to them, still giving a lot in working, but not to the level that I am now. I have a pretty big message about motivation and fortitude and perseverance and all the things that you mentioned. And I have a way to get people there. And all of a sudden, I woke up one day and said, you know what? I want to be so well known that you never need to read my resume again. No more bio. Ladies and gentlemen, Oprah. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Roberts, Snoop Dogg, Forbes Riley, however you want to do that. And that's what I'm looking to. So it means I'm giving an awful lot of time to Clubhouse, to writing books, to getting messages out there, because there's a lot of negativity that I just don't want to stand for. And when you get to a certain age, and maybe Sandra can relate to this, maybe not, but I'm not trying to prove anything anymore. I did it. I made a lot of money. I've been hurt a lot. I've witnessed crazy, horrible tragedies. I've had people I love murdered. My wedding photo is on the cover of the LA Times. If you live through all of this and you decide that you're chosen to have a voice to speak and be a role model, and then the funny thing happens. I'm a massive manifester, so much so that my name is now the verb. So you can manifest, dream, wish, want, but my question to you is, what have you Forbesed lately? Now, no joke. Forbesing means to manifest it, especially when no one else thinks it's possible. Did you manifest a radio show? Did you manifest the love of your life? Did you manifest graduating college when no one said you could, or making your first $1 million? And I love people now chiming in and say, hey, Forbes, I Forbesed it. And
Amen, Forbes. I mean, that is the elixir that we need in these days and times. That enthusiasm is magnetic, you know, because your story, and I could definitely relate, you know, we certainly have lived our lives through other people's lenses, and they've told us how to show up to be ourselves. And we cannot do that. And when we break through that veil and become our true self, that is truly magnificent. And, you know, in reading your bio and some of the things that you've gone through, and if you've mentioned those to us, but they're sharpening your iron, right? I mean, you were like, whatever that is, that's in my past. I'm moving forward, and this is who I am today. And I'm going to continue to manifest and fall in love and do all the things that life allows us, and right on for that. I mean, that is truly something that's inspirational for all of us. I
worked my whole life to get here. I went through a whole lot, and I figured out something, whatever that is. But I've always had something. You know, I was a little girl who had no money after I graduated from college, decided I was going to be an actress because some blind professor told me who I really was. And I said, Mom and Dad, I'm sorry you invested in all this, but I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm going to go pursue this acting thing. My parents were like, oh, we can't really help you. Got the lead in the very first feature film I ever auditioned for called Splatter University. And then the story begins. And it's not, you know, I can put some of the pieces together. Oh, I started on Broadway with Christopher Reeve and I've done other movies. But I'll tell you what, in between that, when I wasn't working and had the agents chase me around the desk trying to catch me and said, that's not going to happen. And when I couldn't find someone to represent me, I didn't need someone's permission to get a piece of stationery, write CMA on it, creative management for artists, pick up the phone and go, yes, hello, yes, no, my name is Lindsay Maxwell. And I want to tell you how wonderful this was. Right. I was my own manager for like 5 freaking years. And I never told
Where there's a will, there is a way for sure.
Forbes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're going to transition just a little bit over to our next guest, who's been waiting patiently in the background. Molly Chang, who's the founder and CEO of Abella Consulting, a New York-based leadership development and business advisory consultancy that helps senior leaders cultivate the collaborative capacity to elevate individual, team, and organizational performance. Oh, those are my kind of words.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Molly's got to break all of that
Welcome to the show, Molly. We appreciate you being on.
Fabulous to be here. Thanks so much. And wow, that Forbes is a firecracker.
I know, right?
Oh, Forbes is wonderful.
Aren't you excited?
Yeah, she's cranking out all cylinders. And I'm going to really give her a shout out for being who she really is, which is really marvelous.
Yeah, she is a person that I've seen on stage before, and she'll get you riled up. She'll get you, you know, ready to rock and roll for whatever venture you're trying to go on. I can guarantee you on that one. She's great. But Molly, you're here, and we want to talk about Say It Skillfully, you know, the radio show that you have on Voice America. It's a wonderful, wonderful show. You know, you have some shows that come out. The last one, Say It Skillfully, Our Voices, with Chris controlling your narrative, which was a fantastic show that I listened to that I absolutely love. And just the fact that, you know, you're this rare breed of individual who is, you know, tough enough to advise CEOs and company boards and, you know, try to get them in a space where they can say it skillfully. You know, it's wonderful. So take a moment to just tell people about, you know, who is Molly Chang? What do you do? And talk about your radio show and why it's important to you. And then, of course, you know, we want to know how your experience has been on Voice America and know how we've been able to help you bring your message to the table.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity, and a shout out to the station. And I want to thank Randall, who's with us, and my right arm guy, Aaron. He's always on the show making it all work. Yeah. So we love Aaron. So big shout
Aaron, the engineer. He
is spectacular. So let me just share in a word, my passion is ignite. And my purpose statement: with heart, creativity, and compassion, I inspire myself and others to have the courage to dream big, be true to ourselves, dream big, and harness the wow power of us so that together we're a force of nature and anything is possible. And I nailed that probably 8 years ago. And after that point, it was just really clear to me how I wanted to serve others. And a big part of that was getting to know myself for who I really am, which is what really underpins the ethos of the show. And, you know, I know you shared, Ryan, a big mouthful about my day job. And so my day job, I'd say, is I help senior management win as one, which is to commit to each other's success as much as their own and to really lead powerfully together. And I really believe in this notion that we can live in a world where we win as one. And by that, I mean people speak without fear and feel heard. They work together to make good ideas great, let go of what doesn't serve us, and we create extraordinary value and meaning in life. And I really want that for everyone. So from a work standpoint, just as an FYI, the fact that I'm a radio show host is nothing short of hysterical. Because when I was 5 is when I learned to speak English. I didn't speak any English. I only spoke Cantonese until then. In first grade, I got straight C's. And the report card was, she seems very bright, doesn't say a lot.
Wow.
So people often say, they come back to me, I think about this all the time. I think, what would Molly say? And they think it sounds so good when you say it. And I offer this just so everybody knows that it's within each of us to find the words, just as I say, create shared reality in a way that's true to ourselves. So I just want everyone to know that you can do it. And that really was a big driving force for the show. And Randall had mentioned these videos. So my day job, I really had an amazing time in my day job. And thanks to Marshall Goldsmith, I had the privilege of being part of his 100 Coaches initiative. And he was all about paying it forward. And, he's kind of done this amazing career. He's like, I have nothing else to prove, and I just want to give it all away for free. And so that notion of really helping other people landed for me. And, I think lots of folks that takes a lot of, I guess, a centeredness to know that you're going to be okay if you're giving everything, away for free. So I thought, well, I don't have to wait till I'm, 70 to do that. And it just came out that I realized that people are really holding back at work a lot. And I think most people listening could be like, what's that conversation you really wanted to have with your boss, but you didn't? Or you really saw your colleague do this, but you didn't say anything. Right. And it's happened for everyone. And so I launched this 90-second video with my little iPhone. And I thought like 10 people would watch it. And like 38,000 people ultimately listened to that video. And so I knew I was onto something, because I am, as you can tell, an idealist, and I really believe in people and their potential. And I could tell people don't want to play small at work. They don't want to be stuck in a straitjacket, just wondering what it would be like to actually express themselves fully. But the thing is this: people like to use this notion, we lack psychological safety. Absolutely, we need psychological safety. I can give that to you in like 75 minutes. That's not the linchpin. You need to be able to find the words to create it. The shared reality, to say what you want to say in a way that honors yourself and others. Yeah. And that is the part where I think it's the tricky part, because it's not a set of skills that you take a test, you get 100 and you pass. Because I can say something in a way that Ryan can't. Ryan can say something in a way that Randall can't. Everyone has this uniqueness about your own experience, and you've got to find a voice that's effective and authentic to you. So that really underpinned the start of the show. And I wanted to just have an environment where callers could call in and just ask me whatever question, like you called a friend, and I would talk it through live so the person would get help. But also everyone around the world would have a chance to realize, one, everyone else has conversations that are hard and they're struggling with. And that two, hey, here's a way that you could kind of learn. And as I came through the ranks in business, I had the luxury of sitting in my boss's and my CEO's office with the door closed, fly on the wall, just hearing them talk through these tough situations. I learned a ton. But a lot of folks don't have that opportunity. So that's how I started the whole show. Then I just started to realize I have these amazing people, but it was really clear to me that people who could say it skillfully were very grounded in themselves. And for those, it takes a lot of work, and it takes about being upfront about your struggles. So many people talk about their bio and they're fabulous here and they're super fabulous and they were triple fabulous here. And I'm like, but for all of us of fabulousness, there's a lot of heartache and struggle and hard times and realness. And so I invited folks who I felt had really found their true north, who were willing to be vulnerable and share the journey and fundamentally be real. And I really wanted to showcase a model for listeners. Like, look, you can be real. And when you're real, it's so freeing, because you don't have to pretend that you're somebody else, and that, we love you because we know who you really are, not because you're perfect, right? We're all perfectly imperfect. So that was really a huge part, this having the different guests on. And I learned so much, and I was so motivated. I was just so grateful to learn from these people. And then frankly, Black Lives Matters happened. And I was listening to, I don't do a lot of Soul Cycle, but I have a favorite Soul Cycle instructor, Trammell. And he got on his Instagram and just was sort of saying to the people who have a lot of followers, which I don't have a lot of followers on Instagram, but said, look, I don't want to hear you're standing by me. No standing by me. You need to do something. And that really landed for me. I get it. You're like, I just don't want people to think that I'm cheering for you. And so I thought, I have this platform. Let me create a monthly feature called Our Voices. And I started with all Black professionals to just share the stories of their lives, not to dramatize. Okay, so you're pulled out of a car, face to the pavement, arm behind your back, handcuffed, because people thought a young Black person must have drugs in the car. They could just pull you out of your car. I didn't do this to dramatize, but to really help people appreciate. Some people have a very different experience of growing up of living, of learning, of struggling. And in doing so, again, I made some great friends and had a chance in my small way to help people appreciate that, we have these different experiences, but at the core, we're probably more similar than not. And I think this notion of empathetic understanding is really an opportunity. So that was a huge gift.
Yeah, I want to echo.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, I want to echo what you said about doing the radio show. I know for me, every time that I do a Finding Your Frequency radio show and I have a guest on who's a professional and author, whatever the case may be, it's like it's a 60-minute learning experience, for me to hear the stories of the struggles, the outcomes, the reason why people do different things. And even though I'm taking time to, do this recording and, do the social media and do all the different things that you have to do to promote and get your show ready to go, I feel like it's so worth it just having the opportunity to have that 60 minutes with somebody,
Yeah, it's been the learning part of it. In fact, my mother is, of course, as all mothers are. She's always listening. She's always promoting. She calls me the first. It's so great, Molly. And she always says, how do you know all these amazing people? I said, well, Mom, I don't know. I just keep coming across them. And I have to shout out for, it was a pre-record, but no offense, is a young man who is probably one of the most impressive people I've met in 35 years. Young age, parents divorced, homeless, drugs, dropping out of school, incarceration, and coming back just so full of life and so ready to make a difference. You talk to someone like this and you're just honored, humbled to know that people are out there, and this is happening all over, America and the world. Right. And so,
yeah. Hey, Molly, I'm thinking as you're talking about your own transition and, how, for some part of your world, doing a radio show is hysterical because you're known in that space as somebody who doesn't say a lot. But to make that transition to now say it skillfully, to be that, almost coach to help people find their voice and say it in a meaningful way, in an articulate way, so that the point is made. And so often in this exchange that we're having today, it's a lot of people yelling and screaming at each other and just shouting back and forth, and you get nothing across that way, in my opinion. Certainly a movement like Black Lives Matter, that is a movement to me that has been so misinterpreted, for what it truly stands for and why it's even said at all. Right. And so that reminds me of the message that is it gets convoluted, so it's important to know. But the inspiration that you bring to young ladies and men and people who are sitting there and afraid to speak out and up because, they don't know how to say it, how to articulate it, or they are often misunderstood when they express themselves. That is tremendous to me. And I just want to thank you. This is my first time meeting you, but your message is profound and it's inspiring. I'm so happy to have met you. I'm grateful that you do the work that you do. It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you as well, Molly. And I know that Randall is, he's here with us. I'm excited about that, but he gets super excited about all the professionals that he's a super professional himself, right? And he works with hosts that are really excellent in the service that they do. They really are powerhouses. So I remember when you first came on with us, and how long have you been with this network now? And what has inspired you to stay with us?
Yeah, so thanks. It was probably the end of 2019, November was my first show. And, I'm just going to give a shout out to Randall because I think Randall was getting things like, what exactly is this? Who is she? Why are we doing this? Right. And so I just want to thank Randall, right, for his sponsorship and his faith, because he knew there was something there. And I just feel like I've really modeled the growth for everyone. If you go to my first videos, you look at her, you're like,
yeah, I bet. Right.
and I feel it's important to be upfront with that. Right. If all we show is how perfect people are, I mean, it's not really that helpful for people, right? To think that it's some like impossible dream that one, it just lands that way. Like everybody has to figure it out, and I think that's part of the gift of it. And I'm an impact person, and I am really moved by the opportunity for people to realize that, I know you want to say your boss this, your colleagues that, but we are all part of the problem and we're all part of the solution. Right? It's not, you can't just say, well, my boss should. Like, if the boss doesn't know, how are they going to make a change? And they're never going to know if you don't say anything. And so I would say, Sandra, before the skillfulness, it's really the driver for change, which is to say, I can't sit here, mute, and not saying anything. That's a personal choice. You can, I'm giving you, but you also have to appreciate, if you do, you're contributing to the problem. You're perpetuating the current state. Yep. We just offer that, just know that you can make a difference and want to make a difference. And it's so freeing. And you can actually, oh my God, it's so free. And that's the best thing ever. The comments I get on LinkedIn, and I have had over 1.5 million video views, people come back. Like, once you figure out that you can do this, you're never going to go back. It's just like you realize it's possible. And to just kind of net it out for folks, most of the time, the toughest part is the relationship with the self. Am I afraid? What am I worried about? What do I want to have happen? So just get it kind of at one with oneself. And then you're like, what's it like for the other person? Right. If you think about what's like for the other person, and then you think, well, what do we really want to have happen that serves the whole? And if you just take that lens and think about it that way, I think it can really help grease the skids and let people know you're well-intentioned and you're not going to be perfect, but this is what you want to have happen. And, vast majority of time, it's really well received, and it's a way to lead.
That's saying it skillfully, Molly.
Ooh, I love it. I love having conversations.
To me, because
on finding
Molly's show has such a universal message. Yeah, Molly's show has such a universal message for and it's really rare for someone to come up with a concept that touches people on that really fundamental human level, because there's so many business shows out there. But I think one of the reasons why people enjoy interacting with, say, it's Skillfully and Molly's ideas, and it's an amazing concept, and it really comes from you, Molly, and your experiences. And that's with anybody coming up with an idea for a show. It's got to be about their own story. And I think a lot of what Say It Skillfully has to do with Molly's own story of her life growing up as she did, as she just explained, and going from being an outsider to fitting in, and finally to speaking up, and owning her own humanity and own skills, and bringing those to other companies as a consultant. That's an amazing journey for anyone to take. And through that journey is Molly realized the things that are common to everyone's experience in doing business. And that's what the show is every week. And it's an amazing program.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I love your dedication to servant leadership. I just finished reading a book from Omar L. Harris called Servant Leadership. And a lot of the things that I read in that book align with a lot of the things that you've said. And it's been great to have you share that information with us. And I want to bring Forbes back into the mix here as we, round table the last session of the fireside chat here. We want to wrap it up in about 10 more minutes or so. But I want to get Forbes back in the mix. Forbes, welcome back.
Hello, Forbes.
Oh, I think you're on mute, Forbes.
Well, she's doing that. I'll let you know that in a couple weeks, Ken Blanchard, none other than Ken Blanchard, will be my guest, who is like major father of servant leadership from the get-go. And Ryan, I appreciate your calling out on that. It really does start there. And when leaders have that baked in and it just rolls through an organization, great things happen.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah,
Forbes, get your audio back. We're good to go, right?
I did. I was just saying, Molly, I was here glued. I was just listening to everything you had to say and enjoying it thoroughly. So thank you. That's all.
Yeah, well, not only that, Forbes, I think that, your kind of philosophy on, how you approach, certain things in what you do, and what Molly does have a lot of synergies in your guys' approach. And so I'd love to kind of flush out just a little bit about, especially the motivational component of, being able to feel that it's okay for you to voice your opinions, knowing that people have gone through a lot of strife and that it's important to talk about those things. But it's also hard to muster up the courage to kind of, get that out into the world so that way you can get it off of your chest and move on and get into a higher frequency, a higher plane of a place of, being able to do servant leadership, and also provide those words of wisdom to individuals, knowing that you've been able to kind of set your component aside and know how to leverage that to give information to other folks. If are you guys tracking with me?
Well, that was very heady. I do want to take a moment though and step back, and I want to look at the 5 frames here. And you talk about inclusion and diversity. I think we win. Kind of interesting, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That is a lot. Yeah, that speaks a lot to the changing of the guard a little bit, of women stepping up. And I always feel bad when I say that's like the men in the room, but it is about everyone finding their voice, their individuality. And my only hope is that we stop stepping on each other. My success has nothing to do with you. Whether you're better or worse than I am, my success is what I've created. And it's me comparing to who I was yesterday.
And be happy for that. That's what I'm saying. Because people can't even be happy for your own success.
Sandra,
what the heck is going on? Come on, Forbes. Why is that such a rarity these days,
Well, I think, and I really am grateful for Forbes calling out the manifesting and the putting it out there. And, I think for the folks who sometimes aren't playing the way they want to play, it's like, if you're not confident with your own self, right, it's kind of a stretch to ask everyone else to do that work for you. And so just go there. And to the point, I know that we're all here because other people have helped us in profound and amazing ways. And so just know that when you put something out there, the people who need to come and rally by you and to lift you when you need lifting are going to be there. And there is a certain amount of just kind of faith in putting it out there. But it's no one goes there alone. We all go together.
Molly, but I'm going to back that out just a second, because I'm going to tell you, it actually doesn't start with, at least for me, doesn't start with anyone else. It starts with you making a decision. Number 2, giving yourself permission. I created a little permission card. And actually it says, it's a little dirty one. And it's made out of steel. It actually says, I hereby grant you permission to. Because I don't think that I think we're taught to deny permission. By the time we're 10 years old, do I have permission to go to the bathroom? Do I have permission to speak? Can I get permission to go out and take the car? And all of a sudden, as adults, we forget to give ourselves permission. Nobody gave any of us on this platform, I would imagine, that drive, that wanting to step in when you're a little uncomfortable, that says, do it anyway. I may not have been wanted in the room, but I'm not here. I'm not asking your permission. I'm here because I want to be. I have something to contribute. And I think, because for me, yes, a lot of people helped along the way, but they didn't open the door, or they didn't create the door. Let's just say I created the door as you did, and they may have opened it, held it open, pushed me through it. But you've got to go, look, I'm going to draw my own door that I'm going to get up and walk through. Yes?
Right on.
Yeah, I think that give yourself permission. It's so funny you use that, Forbes. I use that all the time. Give yourself permission, right, to not be so hard on yourself. Mm-hmm. Give yourself permission to believe in yourself. Give yourself
to love yourself.
To love yourself, right?
All of that. Yeah.
It's all that stuff is all good. And then I do have to say though, for me at least, once I could get out of my own way, which I think is something that I think all of us, we still do, but I think for a lot of people, it's a bigger challenge. You got to do that first step. That's doing the hard work. And I just think there's a lot of folks out there. And, if someone's not there to support you, don't worry about that. Go to the next person. So there's all I can tell you is I have found so many amazing people who have just, in little ways, in enormous ways, made a difference. And it can be a one call. It can be a one shout out. It can be a Randall saying, just bear with us. This is going to, this is going to bear fruit. And those are game changing things that, as advocates for each other, don't underestimate what you could do. And I had a great guy. It's white guy. So I'm a white guy. I'm the classic white guy. I should be. I appreciate putting it out there, and I just want you to know, you bring someone up along, you open a door, you say someone else is great. You have no idea how impactful that can be for someone, and so easy for you to do, right? So I just want to encourage everyone to think of the privilege that you might have, that you might not think is such a big deal, but that could be such a big difference maker for someone else, and to go there. And that gift just keeps giving. So that would be my shout out for everyone.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think this last almost hour that we've been on here has been extremely enlightening, and I hope that the listening audience understands kind of the mission of VoiceAmerica.com and what we're trying to accomplish in our space. Bringing content to the table that is not your average everyday content, things that make you think about what's really going on, how it's going on, why you do what you do, and bringing thought leadership and great things to the table. So I encourage everybody to go definitely listen to both of these fantastic episodes, these fantastic shows. The Forbes Factor, you can catch her on the Influencers channel, and then of course we have Say It Skillfully. That's Tuesdays over on the Business channel. So you guys definitely go check out those shows. And of course, we obviously have a whole bunch of other shows that are really cool too. But definitely want to highlight Molly and Forbes for the great work that you have done in your particular spaces. And we appreciate you being host on the Voice America Talk Radio Network, and all of the ideas and all of the information that you bring to the table it's an invaluable component of, really moving forward as human beings and getting to a space where, we're all working together. We're all, I like to say, like all the horses are pulling the cart in the right direction kind of thing. And I feel like that those things are very important. And Sandra and Randall, you guys are amazing. Thank you everybody for being on today. Sandra, I'll let you close this out because I know you have some great words of wisdom like you always do. And we thank everybody for tuning in to the Fireside Chat here on the Voice America Facebook feed, our Twitter, and also our YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning in.
And I just have to say, I'm looking at Randall's face. Randall, you have 3 girls, and Ryan, you knew you weren't going to say anything tonight, right?
So here's the thing. We're all students and we're all teachers in this space. And certainly you ladies have been on both sides of that as students and as teachers. But the synergy and the personalities are certainly different, but the synergy is here. It's that personal growth, that self-growth, that self-awareness, that you can do anything kind of attitude and not wait for someone else's approval. Those are lessons that I get, and they are meant to be given to me, and I'm receiving them strongly. And I'm sure others out there are doing the same things, Forbes and Molly. And so I just want to thank you for your fortitude, as Ryan would say, and your resolve, your intestinal fortitude, and your resolve that you're saying, I don't give a damn what you say. If you don't back me, exactly right. I'm going to the next one, and I am going to say this and stop being on the fence with stuff, because that's where these other illnesses and things like that show up in our lives, right? We haven't talked about the fact that stress, what that brings to us, because we don't express ourselves and we aren't as verbal as we need to be. So you both are so right on with that in your ways that you're expressing it, but the point is the same. And how about that? And so I do thank you for that. And it totally is in harmony with who we are as a network. And we work with individuals that are as dynamic as yourself. You come from a space that's a personal story, right? And that influence has brought you to this person, this adult, this
keeping it real, keeping it real.
Exactly. So thank you for that. And thank you all for tuning into the chat. And Randall, appreciate you in more ways than I expressed, but thank you so much for being here and keep coming with the professionals that you connect with this network. That's
and
awesome.
Randall, I'll make sure that I'm quieter next time so that
and I'll make sure you guys
I'm ready to go.
I want to do that. I do some exercises, Forbes. I don't want you to think I'm not active, but that looks like it's awesome to do.
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna be the fittest network ever.
You guys.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for
Molly.
being on.
All righty.
Make sure you guys tune in to Fireside Chat next week. It'll be at the same time, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern, and we'll have some other amazing content for you guys to consume. Make sure you go check out the radio shows on voiceamerica.com. And of course, you can find all the shows on all of your podcatchers like iTunes and such. So thank you guys for tuning in to the broadcast, and we appreciate it. Bye, everybody.